On the latest exciting episode of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, emotions are running high as Yandy and Rasheeda find themselves in a tense situation over the newest gossip about Mendices. What started as quiet talk quickly turns into a heated argument, leaving both women wondering about their friendship and loyalty to each other. Meanwhile, the drama takes a surprising turn when Bambi and Spice come face to face in an unexpected clash. Right in the middle of it all is Amy Luciani, as emotions get out of control, alliances are tested, and hidden truths come out. Friendships are pushed to the limit as secrets are revealed. Unexpected confrontations are turning everything upside down. Will Yandy and Rasheeda be able to move past the drama, or has their bond changed forever? And how will Bambi deal with the fallout from her growing feud with Spice? Get ready for all the jaw-dropping moments from this must-see episode. Here are the highlights from Run It Back. Rasheeda is not convinced by Yandy's version of the story, and the tension between them keeps building up. She listens carefully, but her body language and sharp responses clearly show that she is not believing what Yandy is saying. Meanwhile, Spice is working hard on a big moment in her career as she prepares to open the very first physical location for her clothing brand, Gracie Noir. It is a huge step for the dancehall queen, and she is determined to make it a success. To celebrate and catch up, she invites Yandy and Rasheeda to come and see the space. What starts as a friendly visit soon turns into a heated conversation about the latest drama involving Yandy, Mendices, and Jessica. As they talk, the conversation takes a sudden turn to a shocking accusation, leaving everyone surprised and adding even more tension to the situation. Mendices is being accused of hitting on Jessica's niece, Robin, but Yandy is standing strong on her side of the story. She says once again that she actually saw Robin being the one causing the trouble at the club, not Mendices. Yandy believes Robin was being loud and pushy toward Mendices, and the situation did not happen the way Jessica made it sound. The real surprise comes when Yandy admits that after the incident, she decided to handle it herself. Instead of talking to Robin directly, she did something unexpected. Yandy found Robin's Instagram account and sent her a direct message from there, catching everyone off guard with her bold move. Yandy reveals that she sent the message from Mendices' Instagram account, pretending to be him. This shocking news leaves Rasheeda and Spice completely stunned. They cannot help but wonder why Yandy would go that far. Was she trying to set Robin up or make a point? And even more importantly, did Mendices know she did this? As the tension keeps building, Rasheeda's doubts grow even stronger. She has been in the industry long enough to know that there are always two sides to every story. Is Yandy really telling the whole truth, or is she just trying to control the story to protect Mendices? One thing is clear. This drama is not going away anytime soon. The drama is far from over. During a green screen confessional, Rasheeda does not hold back her true feelings about the situation. She clearly says that Yandy's story just does not make sense. Something about it feels wrong, and to Rasheeda, it seems like Yandy might be trying to protect Mendices. Rasheeda cannot help but wonder if Yandy is trying to save his image, or if there is more to the story than she is willing to admit. Rasheeda is not convinced and starts to question Yandy's version of events even more. As the conversation continues, Yandy tries to shift the focus, but Rasheeda is not ready to let it go just yet. Yandy turns the tables and asks why neither Spice nor Rasheeda ever came to her directly about the whole Robin situation before now. She feels confused and hurt because Jessica was the one who first brought up the shocking accusation at her own event. Yandy feels completely blindsided and wonders why no one gave her a warning ahead of time. If it was important enough to be talked about, why was she not informed? Spice is quick to clear herself from any involvement, saying that she was not even there when Jessica made the claim. As for Rasheeda, she looks genuinely surprised and insists that she had no idea about it before. Rasheeda seems caught off guard and confused by the whole situation, leaving Yandy feeling even more frustrated and unsure of who to trust. Rasheeda insists that she had no idea this conversation even took place. She says she was not aware of the accusations, and if she had known, she swears she would have told Yandy right away. There is no reason for her to keep something like that a secret. However, in her green screen confessional, Yandy does not seem convinced by Rasheeda's response. She gives a little Yandy cannot help but wonder if Rasheeda is really unaware or if she is just trying to stay away from the drama to keep her hands clean. The tension between them keeps growing, and one thing is becoming more and more clear. Yandy and Rasheeda's friendship might not survive this situation. Doubts are building on both sides, and trust is slowly falling apart, leaving everything unsettled and unresolved. Is Rasheeda truly as clueless as she says, or is she just trying to play it safe to avoid getting caught up in the mess? And even, more importantly, is Yandy being completely honest about what really happened with Mendices? One thing is certain, this story is far from over, and the real truth still feels out of reach. One thing is for sure, this conversation is far from over, and things are only going to get even messier as the situation keeps spiraling out of control. As the tension continues to build, Rasheeda finally opens up about the strain growing between her and Yandy. At first, it was just quiet doubt, but now, the more she thinks about it, the more it feels like their friendship has hit a serious rough patch. There is a lack of trust forming between them, and Rasheeda is finding it harder and harder to believe Yandy's version of events. She cannot help but wonder if Yandy is trying to protect Mendices or if she is truly telling the truth. Rasheeda's thoughts are racing, and the uncertainty is making it even more difficult to know what to believe. Meanwhile, across town, Jessica is sharing her frustrations with Bambi about everything that went wrong at her event. For Jessica, the night was supposed to be a positive and uplifting moment, but instead it turned into a complete disaster. She feels like the whole situation got out of control because Spice refused to acknowledge Robin and Jasmine. Jessica believes that if Spice had just been open to having a conversation instead of completely shutting them out, things would not have escalated the way they did. The tension in the room built up so fast that, before anyone realized it, the situation had completely spiraled out of control. Jessica feels upset that what should have been a great night turned into such a chaotic and messy situation. The only thing on Jessica's mind right now is how angry she is about Yandy's involvement in the situation with Mendices and Robin. 2. Jessica, it is completely clear that Yandy is lying to protect her husband, and she refuses to just stand by and watch as her niece's reputation gets dragged through the mud. Jessica is determined not to let this go without a fight. She is upset that Robin, a young woman with a bright future ahead of her, is now being unfairly labeled because of a man she strongly believes is a cheater. Jessica knows exactly how it feels to have your name ruined, and she is not about to let that happen to Robin without standing up for her. Jessica's frustration is boiling over as she says, "I know exactly the kind of man Mendices is, and I refuse to just sit back and let Yandy throw my niece under the bus to cover for him." Bambi listens carefully, nodding in agreement as Jessica passionately shares her thoughts. It is clear that this is not just about one night of drama. It is about respect, accountability, and telling the truth. Jessica feels like Yandy is playing games with the facts, and she is not going to let her niece take the blame for something she did not do. The conversation between Jessica and Bambi only makes the situation even more intense, and it becomes clear that this drama is far from over. The fire is spreading, and the battle lines are clearly being drawn as the tension in the group reaches a boiling point. Yandy, Rasheeda, Spice, and Jessica are all standing firm, refusing to back down. It is obvious that this situation is far from over. Will Yandy finally take responsibility for her actions, or will Jessica be forced to reveal everything? And will Rasheeda and Yandy's friendship survive the storm? One thing is for sure, this drama is just beginning. Later, in a calm and private setting, Rasheeda sits down with her husband, Kirk Frost, to talk through all the chaos with Yandy. After everything that has happened, Rasheeda feels overwhelmed and unsure, hoping that talking to Kirk will help her make sense of it all. She needs his advice and support to figure out how to move forward and what steps to take next. After everything that has gone down, Rasheeda is feeling frustrated and confused about why Yandy has been pressing her so hard about the cheating rumors surrounding Mendices. To Rasheeda, this whole situation is starting to feel completely unnecessary. The more she replays the conversations in her mind, the more she realizes that Yandy is putting way too much pressure on her over something that, in her opinion, has absolutely nothing to do with her or Kirk. Sitting across from her, Kirk listens carefully, nodding as Rasheeda vents her thoughts and feelings. She explains that she just cannot understand why Yandy came at her so strongly, making it seem like Rasheeda is somehow involved when all she has done is try to stay neutral and supportive. Rasheeda cannot help but feel frustrated about Yandy, coming at her so strongly for not giving her a heads up about Jessica's niece, Robin. At the end of the day, Rasheeda knows this has nothing to do with her or Kirk. She lets out a deep sigh and looks at her husband with confusion. I just do not understand why Yandy is acting like I was supposed to run to her about this, she says, shaking her head. Like, girl, why? This is your man and your situation, not mine. Kirk glances at Rasheeda, raising an eyebrow as he tries to make sense of it all. He understands exactly where she is coming from because he knows she hates getting pulled into unnecessary drama. Right now, it feels like that is exactly what is happening, and he can see how drained she is from it. With a thoughtful nod, he gently asks, So, what do you think she really wants from you? His voice is calm and reassuring because he knows she needs support, not more stress. Rasheeda takes a deep breath, letting out a frustrated sigh as she tries to gather her thoughts. I honestly do not know, she admits, rubbing her temples as if trying to massage away the stress. It just feels like every time something goes wrong, somehow I get pulled into it, even when I have nothing to do with it. I am tired of being dragged into other people's messes. I have enough on my plate without worrying about other folks' problems. Kirk nods, understanding her frustration completely. He has seen this pattern happen before, and it never sits right with him. It is like people expect Rasheeda to be the one to fix everything or take the blame when things go sideways, and it is just not fair. You know, sometimes people project their own issues onto others, he says thoughtfully. Maybe she is just looking for someone to blame because it is easier than dealing with her own mistakes. Rasheeda shakes her head, still feeling uneasy about the whole situation. But why me? Why am I always the one that gets caught up in it? I have been nothing but loyal and supportive, and yet somehow I still end up being the bad guy. It just does not make sense. Kirk reaches out, gently taking her hand in his. Because you are strong, he says softly. People see that strength, and they think you can handle anything. They forget that you have feelings too. They take your strength for granted and expect you to carry their weight too. Rasheeda's eyes soften a little at his words, and she knows he is right. She has always been the type to hold it all together, no matter what. But it is exhausting to always be the strong one when no one else seems to step up. I guess I just wish people would stop putting me in the middle of stuff that has nothing to do with me, she says, her voice tinged with sadness. Kirk gives her hand a reassuring squeeze. You cannot control how people act, but you can choose how you respond, he reminds her. Maybe it is time to set some boundaries. Let folks know that you are not going to get involved in their drama anymore. It is not your responsibility to fix everything. Rasheeda takes in his words, letting them sink in. He is right. She has been carrying too much on her shoulders for too long. It is time to let go of things that do not belong to her. You are right, she finally says, a hint of determination in her voice. I cannot keep letting people pull me into their mess. I have my own life to worry about. If they cannot respect that, then that is on them. Kirk smiles at her resolve, proud that she is finally putting herself first. That is the Rasheeda I know, he says with a grin. You have got this. Just keep being true to yourself and let them deal with their own problems. Rasheeda feels a sense of relief wash over her, knowing that she has Kirk's support. It is comforting to know that she does not have to face this alone. As they sit together, the tension in the room eases a little, and Rasheeda feels a sense of peace settling in her heart. She knows that it is not going to be easy, but she is ready to reclaim her sense of self and stop being everyone else's problem solver. In that moment, Rasheeda realizes that sometimes strength is not just about holding it all together. It is also about knowing when to let go and protect her own peace. And with Kirk by her side, she knows she can do just that. Kirk leans back, trying to understand everything. Do you think she is just trying to deflect? He asks, looking at Rasheeda. She pauses for a moment, then shakes her head with a heavy sigh. I do not even know anymore, she admits, sounding tired and frustrated. I just know that I am not about to be out here defending Mendices. That is not my responsibility. Rasheeda has been friends with Yandy for a long time, But this whole situation is making her question a lot of things. Why is Yandy acting like she is the victim in all of this? The cheating rumors, the accusations, and the drama with Jessica. And Robin? None of that has anything to do with Rasheeda. Yet somehow she keeps getting pulled into the mess, and it is starting to wear her down. Yet here she is, caught up in the drama as if she had some kind of duty to warn Yandy about a conversation she was not even part of. If I had known, I would have told her, Rasheeda says firmly. But I did not. And even if I did, what was I supposed to say? Hey girl, I heard some drama about Mendices. That is not my place. Kirk gives a light chuckle, shaking his head, with a knowing look. You know how people are, he says calmly. When they do not like the message, they go after the messenger. Rasheeda nods slowly, realizing that is exactly how she feels right now, like she is being blamed for something that has absolutely nothing to do with her. Rasheeda feels blamed for something she had no control over, and the more she thinks about it, the more it frustrates her. Yandy is my girl, but she needs to stop acting like I owe her something in this situation, Rasheeda says firmly. I did not start this drama, and I am definitely not about to be the one to fix it. Kirk smirks, realizing that his wife is completely done with the nonsense. He has seen Rasheeda in situations like this before and knows one thing for sure. Once she checks out, she completely checks out. So, what are you going to do? Kirk asks, curious to know her next move. Kirk keeps his eyes on Rasheeda, waiting for her to speak her mind. Rasheeda takes a deep breath and leans back on the couch. I am just going to let Yandy do whatever she wants, but I am not going to keep explaining myself over and over. If she chooses to believe whatever she wants, that is her choice. She knows she will not let the situation destroy their friendship, but at the same time, she will not allow herself to be blamed for something she had nothing to do with. As their conversation comes to an end, Rasheeda feels a little more at ease, but it is clear that this situation is far from being resolved. Yandy might not be ready to let go just yet, and if she keeps pushing the issue, their friendship could end up in serious trouble. For now, Rasheeda has made up her mind to step back from the drama. However, if Yandy keeps pressing the matter, Rasheeda might just have to clear the air and set the record straight. As Rasheeda and Kirk continue talking, they decide to shift the topic, but the tension still hangs in the air. Kirk cannot help but notice something that is bothering him. Jasmine, his past entanglement, seems to be getting a little too comfortable with some people in their circle, and it is starting to make him feel uneasy. Their circle is starting to feel different, and Kirk cannot ignore it anymore. At first, he brushed it off, but now it is becoming clear that some friendships just need to come to an end. It is one thing for Jasmine to move forward with her life, but it is completely different when mutual friends start welcoming her back like nothing ever happened. Kirk leans back, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. I do not like it, he tells Rasheeda. We need to start cutting some people off because, clearly, loyalty is not what we thought it was. Rasheeda nods in agreement, feeling the same way. She has been noticing the changes, too. Some people have been acting differently, and it is making her question where their loyalty truly lies. Some people have been acting strange lately, and, with Jasmine getting too close to certain folks, it is becoming clear that it is time to set some boundaries and clean house. Meanwhile, across town, Jessica arrives at Bambi's place looking completely heartbroken. The moment Bambi opens the yas, Jessica's eyes fill up with tears as she finally lets her emotions pour out. I just do not know how much more of this I can take, she says, her voice trembling with pain. Without hesitation, Bambi wraps her in a warm, comforting hug. You do not have to be strong all the time, Bambi whispers softly. It is okay to let it out. You are human. Jessica is not used to moments like this. She has always been the strong one, holding everything together no matter what. But in this moment, she is realizing that even the strongest people sometimes need a break to let their feelings show. Sometimes even the strongest people need a moment to break down. Meanwhile, Yandy has finally had enough and decides it is time to confront Rasheeda. After hearing that Rasheeda and Kirk have been talking about her behind closed doors, Yandy knows she cannot just let it slide. With determination and confidence, she walks into the room, her energy bold and direct. So, we Are really doing this, Rasheeda? Yandy says, crossing her arms and looking straight at her. We are supposed to be friends, but you are out here making me look like I am crazy for questioning what is going on. Rasheeda takes a deep breath, preparing herself for the heated conversation she knows is about to happen. The conversation Rasheeda knew was coming has finally started. Yandy, I have already told you, this whole Mendici situation has nothing to do with me, she says firmly, but calmly. I do not understand why you keep acting like I did something wrong. Yandy shakes her head, clearly upset. It is just strange how every time something goes down, you act like you have no clue about it. The tension between them is heavy, and it is clear that this conversation is just the beginning of something bigger. Meanwhile, Spice decides to invite everyone to her content house, but nobody expects the shocking surprise that Rasheeda brings along. Amid all the chaos, Spice tries to bring some positivity to the group by inviting a few cast members to visit her new content house. This is a big moment for her. She has been working very hard to grow her brand, and now she finally feels ready to share her vision with her friends. She hopes this will be a fresh start and a chance to come together, but before anyone can even take a moment to celebrate, Rasheeda drops a shocking bombshell. She reveals that a group of men broke into Frost Bistro, the restaurant that she and Yusam Kirk have worked tirelessly to build from the ground up. The news leaves everyone completely stunned, and the mood changes from excitement to deep concern in an instant. Wait, what? Spice asks, her eyes widening with shock. Rasheeda lets out a deep sigh and rubs her forehead, trying to keep her composure. Yeah, but thank God for the security cameras because we caught them. It is only a matter of time before they get locked up. She tries to hold on to the relief that no one was hurt and that the cameras captured everything, but the whole situation feels deeply unsettling. Who would do something like this? Was it just a random act, or was it someone who had been watching them closely for a while? The thought keeps nagging at Rasheeda's mind, and it is hard not to feel uneasy about it all.